This is Montreal Now with Aaron Rand and Natasha Hall. CJAD 800.
That is Jim Mennie over at the Montreal Gazette. And Jim, I thought we'd start today with Elghawaby Gate because today Amira Elghawaby, who's been, of course, in the crosshairs for the past 3-4 days. How long has she had the job now? 5 days, I think, officially, right? Well, today she met with Yves-François Blanchet. But we got this from Amira Elghawaby today, so take a listen to this.
The way that we're going to move forward in these types of difficult conversations is by being able to listen and being able to ensure that the way that we talk about these issues aren't hurtful on either side.
Okay, part of an apology today, and as I said, then she met with Yves-François Blanchet. So what did you make of what you heard today? Does this change anything?
No, I'm not, I hate to say it, I'm not entirely sure she's going to be in this job for much longer. One thing's for sure, the past 5 days, the last thing anyone's been talking about is Islamophobia, be it in Quebec, in Canada, anyplace else. This really bungled appointment has taken center stage. Yes, she said she's sorry. I don't know if you guys have seen the latest on this. Jean-François Roberge said, "Fine, we're glad you apologized. Now resign." And this is the government's position on this. With a certain amount of justice, there's a certain amount of logic there. And to hear her say, "Well, you can't say hurtful things," well, that obviously didn't cross your mind 3 years ago, and I'm sorry, but it's there. And if you heard Justin Trudeau, the guy who hired her, did you hear anything about his presser today? No. The guy could have won a gold medal in the figure skating in the next Winter Olympics. He goes on, he says, Quebecers aren't racist, and he begins to give this lecture on how, in the wake of the Quiet Revolution, there's a real pushback against any kind of religion. It's not about, not liking Muslims. It's about not liking any kind of religion. It's about cherishing freedoms and not being sort of like, compelled by some religion to do something that you don't want to do. So listen, folks, Quebecers are not racist. And then as he's being scrummed, and this is the very significant part, guys, he's asked if he knew about what Ms. Elghawaby had written prior to her being named to this post. And he said, well, I knew about some of them. He says, but there are some others that are only coming out now. And if you listened very, very closely, you could hear the very low squeak of the hinge of an escape hatch slowly being opened. Okay? Because, I stand by Amira Elghawaby, he said, taking one sidestep away from her. He cannot maintain this. She spent the afternoon trying to explain herself to Trudeau's biggest opponent politically in Quebec. After Monsieur Yves-François Blanchet at the Bloc Québécois, after the meeting, I'll have no comment right now. I intend to address this issue tomorrow morning. Now that Quebec has said she must resign, I wonder what he's going to say.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I kind of brought this up yesterday, this idea that if Quebec has got its back up now and urging the federal government to do something, Trudeau in this case to do something, and you cave now, Jim, what kind of message does that send?
Well, maybe don't make such a stupid, unvetted, irresponsible choice in the first place. Well, and think twice before you, how can I put it, resort to appealing to blocks of voters, which is exactly what this was. This was Justin Trudeau, carrying out a political performance for the perception that, a lot of Muslim voters out there will love me because I have named this person to address Islamophobia. Personally, and if I may engage in the contemporary vernacular, that strikes me as a ridiculously entitled, post-colonial, paternalistic and patronizing attitude, as if every single Muslim in Canada, Muslim Canadian, thinks and is going to vote the same way. Much in the same way that François Legault, and we're talking different politics, but the same cynicism here, much in the same way François Legault thought, this is a Bill 21. What a great way to show that I'm dealing this. And we all know that and we've seen the fallout from this law is to sort of focus on observant Muslim women. And there you go. And that appealed to a certain slice of the electorate. Not the majority of Quebecers, by the way. Only 41% voted for them. But this is how politics are done.
I just think that, Jim,
this herd mentality.
To your point of treating the Muslim community, if you want to call it, as a monolith here by making that appointment. So if we follow through with your sort of thinking that he's going to go back and say, okay, it wasn't worth the fight I'm going to have with Quebec, doesn't he then risk upsetting that same Muslim community
the only
that
way
he wanted to appease it to begin with by appointing her?
In my opinion, the only way he can save face here is to put that spin on it, say that he consulted members of the community and he's now going to follow their advice.
Yeah, but he didn't consult them to begin with.
Right?
That was never
and
his point.
He has to admit that mistake. That's the only way to get out of this, in my opinion. You tell me, Jim, what you think.
I think he needs, like I say, the escape hatch metaphor was only so far, just a metaphor. I think he's going to have to try and deal with this by the end of the week, because the cost right now, the leak of or rather the hemorrhage of the increasingly diminishing amount of credibility that Trudeau has, he can't afford this. He simply cannot afford this.
And just real quick as we wrap up, though, so what do you make of Quebec Solidaire abstaining yesterday in the National Assembly when they went to condemn her, or at least ask for her resignation uniformly?
Well, but their rationale for that is that this is nothing more than a distraction on the part of Legault, who doesn't want to talk about anything else on earth other than this. And
That's
they're 100% right. Yeah. They say he doesn't want to talk about healthcare. He doesn't want to talk about hydro. He's turning this into a psychodrama. But even then, within Quebec Solidaire, it's not a shared opinion. There is a divergence of opinion in Quebec Solidaire over whether or not she should resign. So there you go.
Well, we don't have a lot of time left in the week. Got 2 days to wrap this one up, and we'll see what happens. Jim, thank you.
Adamant.